What is going on, people? It has been a little bit too long, but that's what happens with winter. Winter sucks. So since then, I've had some time to really think about what I wanted to do with the car, and I've kind of made up my mind for at least this summer, this spring, what I'm going to be doing. And today we're prepping for that. So you're watching this. It is being filmed on a Friday. In 3 days, I'm going back to work for about a month and a half, 2 months maybe. And it's gonna be a ridiculous amount of overtime, no sleep, no nothing. So it's gonna be a nice little stint for money, a little extra money, and then do what I want to do with this, the last final bit. So yes, it is power. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. You guys can already probably guess what I want to do because there's not much really left to do on this thing. But you know me, I like to be methodical, kind of anal about some stuff. I love to preach the supporting mods. So with that being said, went ahead and picked up this bad boy. Yep. Everybody uses it that builds these cars or builds basically any motor. You buy a fluid dampener. There's this one, there's fluid dampener, and then there's ACI. They make something similar. It's like it's a harmonic balancer. Everybody kind of tends to lean towards these, and most of the people that use them are building high horsepower motors. It's like, well, I'm not even close to stock, and then I'm gonna be even further once I do what I wanna do. So I might as well use this and help with, let's get out of this one, help with any stress that the motor will see. I mean, harmonic balancer is basically used just to help dampen any torsional flex in the crankshaft, reduce any really bad vibration that may put premature wear on your bearings or what have you. And then a lot of people also say it cuts down on noise harshness vibration with upgraded mounts and stuff, which I have. I have a solid tranny brace in this thing along with group N, polyurethane bushings, stock motor mounts, but I do have the pitch stop brace. So that's been my one complaint about this car, is just how shaky everything is. And I also wanted to do a one-piece drive shaft. And a lot of people say that really smooths out the ride and everything, along with this. So we'll see how much that does. But I mean, it's mainly for what I want to do, adding power to it, and just to really just hold the car together and keep it mint for anything I may or may not be doing down the line. So I already got everything basically taken off. This is the hardest part right here. It's literally right in the beginning. So you take off the snorkel, and then you kind of get, I just got to get this out of the way, this one fan right here. But here's the crank pulley, and basically you have to break this 22 mil off, which I basically did. Like once you get it once you get the torque broken on it, it becomes hand loose. Now I'm just trying to clear it from in there. I just gotta wiggle it out. But yeah, that's the biggest problem, because that free spins for the most part. So you need this. This is Company 23 makes this. There were, Grimspeed used to make one, but they discontinued it for whatever reason. So I picked this up, and this, you put on the pulley like so, and then this hole in there allows you to slip the 22 in here. That's 14. Now, you gotta have something big. This is a 3-foot bar. Or no, this is like, I don't know, it's a beefy boy. The beefier the better with this, on a 1/2-inch drive. So that way you can get it in and get that torque, especially if you're doing it by yourself. Because I almost couldn't do it. I had to get it a certain way so that way I could really crank it. Let me get this squared off. Once you get this out, it's essentially, it's a straightforward job. Fluidampr gives you some directions. Where'd I put it? I'm doing the apartment shit at the same time. I'm getting the new place squared away for myself. So these are all the directions. They're pretty straightforward, except for when you get down here. It's kind of odd, so I'll have to really look at that. All right, got the old pulley off. Doesn't look too bad, but it's still pretty crusty. And the amount of miles I'm gonna be putting on it. So as you can see, it is off. Now, you see that little nub? right there, this aligns the crank pulley, and which is nice because there's only really one way to put it on. It's just like a reluctor plate behind the flywheel. If you're doing a clutch, this is where your bolt goes. Now, normally they say this whole piece, so it's like a little egg on the other side with notches on it, and this comes in and out. And I guess I think it attaches to your crankshaft, something like that. But normally this is supposed to stay when you pull the pulley off. Well, this pulley has 90,000 miles on it, so I actually had to pull it out with it and make sure the orientation of it was exactly the same when putting it back in. And I kind of tried, remembered the orientation of it, and I wanted to see if I could bring it over a little bit and like if there was a way to screw it up. And I couldn't seat it all the way, so I'm like, all right, so the groove should sit in a particular way. I think if you turn it 180 degrees, you could probably fuck it up. But I put it back in the way I had it, so should be fine. But anyway, I gotta take some engine oil and put it on the crank bolt. Crank bolt looks mint. I thought the head looked corroded, which it kind of did just because it's exposed, but looks good to me. On the threads look mint. So you put oil on this. When you pull it out, there's oil on here, which there's supposed to be. So you do that. Then you put anti-seize behind the head on top of right where the bolt goes, and then we'll go from there. It's not a hard job, it's just requires 2 hands, so I'm not able to kind of film while I work. All right, everything's back on. Pulley, belt, nice and tight. So I am slightly nervous starting this, just because that crank nose and pin assembly came out, but pretty sure I put it back in the right spot, so see what happens. Not overly noticeable for any difference. How about we go for a test drive, eh? All right, just got back from a drive. It was like, I want to say 10 miles. Half of it was on, it's a little better. Half of it was on the highway, and then half of it was on some back streets. Overall, vibration is definitely decreased, especially through the steering wheel. On the highway, I did a couple pulls, not anything crazy, but like a 3-4 pull, and vibration through the steering wheel and even just driving around normally is like almost gone. So, and the vibration like at higher RPMs is weird. It's not like you can really feel it. It's almost like it's the frequency of it is like changed or whatever. You can kind of feel it, but it's not anything like crazy like before. Like it's definitely different and decreased from the stock crank pulley. Downshifting is a lot easier since the new pulley is heavier. It is, I think it's carrying a little extra, especially from like anybody that drives these cars like a 3-to-2 downshift. Second gear is actually really a lot smaller than third gear, so it takes a little extra RPM to get up there, and usually like sometimes you're short on that. This one I was consistently like getting 2-3 like butter smooth, or 3-2 butter smooth, so that was really nice. But overall I think it definitely is smoother, especially getting going again. From a stop, it is definitely a little smoother, a little easier. And all in all, I think if it's translating through the whole car like that, imagine what it's doing to like your crank bearings and whatever else internally that might get a little worn out from bad harmonics and vibration. So all in all, thumbs up. Highly recommended, especially if you plan on putting some power to this car, which is why, like I said before, I'm doing this just to cover all my bases, because the platform, yes, it is a little hairy if you don't know what you're doing. A lot of kids just throw parts at it and go nuts. So that's why you get that bad rep of people blowing Subarus up and they're not reliable. Short video, but hopefully this will really kind of drive into the next set. Next set should be good. And by next set, I mean when it gets fucking warm out, because it's ridiculous. But, yep. See you when that comes around. Peace.